And this is the thing I want to talk about because I've discussed this with like other people and yourself. I think we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of this pattern I've seen with like people, my peers and young adults,
Yeah.
Asian young adults in my community.
Yeah.
The timeline for us is, for a lot of us, is maybe when we're young we might do a bit of sports and stuff. Boom, school. We get into primary school. Most of us Asians, OC class, selective school, and all that. So the level of having to dedicate a lot of time to studying. I saw this when I was younger. I'd go martial arts and stuff, and people were like, I'm not going to be coming to class anymore because I'm going to be focusing on studying for the OC and this happens at a very young age, right? So at a very young age, a lot of people completely removing themselves from sports, only doing the sports that are available, in school.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about diet. Usually, us Asian kids, perfect diet, no dramas. We're eating well. We're not overly overweight, anything like that. So we're fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get into high school, and again, similar kind of thing. I've noticed for me when I went into high school, and I think you've probably seen this. People are less into like the sports activities. When we were young, like primary school, that was play.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I knew I bludged during sports, and everyone was looking for an excuse to bludge. What? Do you know why? Puberty?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think.
Looking at an excuse to bludge, maybe just it's laziness.
For me, I reckon it was a laziness thing. Like, you're at school, you study and all this, and then like that's just time to play. Yeah,
play LOL.
Yeah, you did. You'd rather just do like you'd rather just hang out, right?
Yeah.
And so the sports was time to hang out. It didn't feel like class kind of thing. That's why,
Yeah.
right? So I think that made a big point to it. Yeah, people didn't really try. Like you had the athletics kid who tried. Good on them. But like then, like at least for me,
you know what's a good factor as well? School's not giving a shit.
School doesn't give a shit.
Like some schools don't give a shit.
They try to give a shit. At least the
They
P's.
no, like what? Like my school, for example. I'm not gonna say names or anything.
Yeah.
But like,
Thank you. So I have to go fucking find the bleep, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking Andrew and Alan.
So like, there's no like after school activities. It's literally just within the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get you like, oh, it's just stay after school and train, because the teachers don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The teachers don't the teachers don't want to find the time to like train the.
But y'all did still have like zone sports
we still had teams and stuff.
Yeah.
I think from my experience, we only had one teacher that actually wanted us to come early into the school and like train basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I think definitely to do with like education and to resources.
Mr. Sue.
Huh?
I love that guy. Mr. Sue.
Mr. Sue?
Mr. Sue.
Shout out to Mr. Sue.
Shout out to Mr. Sue.
Wherever you're at now. Beep.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at other schools as well, like what, Sydney Boys, fucking powerhouse school in sports.
Right, scholar sportsman.
Yeah, Balcombe Hills, all those selective schools in the Hills area, they push powerhouse in sports.
So I get you. You're noticing a gap. See, because I didn't get into sports back when I was in high school like that. I went to a private school, but
now that my horizons now that I've gone to volleyball,
broaden your
now that I've gone to volleyball, and how volleyball is such a big sport right now.
You're meeting people.
I'm meeting people, and I'm seeing how like schools.
How that affected. Yeah.
How it's affected.
And you get how the area works and stuff like that. I
feel like right now.
Yeah.
Schools are more inclined to play sports than it was back then.
Dude, I want my. Yeah, they need to be.
Play that up. But like right now, my school right now, bro.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're doing really well in volleyball.
Yeah.
They're doing fucking really well in volleyball. Yeah. I think that attributes to them training outside of school, training obviously during school as well. Which we never did back in the days. Which I
At least
never
for
did
us Asian kids, yeah, because we were just fucking focused on the study.
Exactly.
But the thing was, most of the Asian kids are all depressed about the study. Our parents are beating our asses. But the thing is, that aside, sport's so good for mental health, isn't it not?
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Playing, dude, we're animals. We are animals.
Yeah.
This level, putting the stress in your body and
bro.
trying to, and mentally, you're shaped to like try to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
You're just always kind of like. Dude, we're fighting these battles out in real life already, day to day, our social battles. At least I can finally have a battle where it's a game,
Yeah, bro.
It's and reward, and and there are stakes involved. Not everyone can be a winner, but that's fair enough. Further on with the that Asian experience is also then in high school. So like you said, not as much. And from what you're seeing, like you said, schools seem to be getting into it more, which is really good. And because I know for me, because my gap that I feel is I wish that I'd been pushed more in sports when I was younger. I'm hyperactive. I have energy, so I should be using that energy to make myself better, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And because first generation parents don't know as much, or they're not. That's not their concern. Their concern isn't let's make sure he does a little sports because of all the benefits. They might not even know the benefits. It's just about being healthy as far as they're concerned, right? They're too busy working and like just trying to make sure their kid goes to school, does well, and like can provide for their own life. That's what they're concerned about. But now that I'm in this generation, I've understood it. I've gone past that. When I have a kid, I really want to sports should always be an underlying thing. The sport should be as simple as
complementary.
Complementary, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be fully into it. Just cut it doesn't make sense to me from like a Monday to Sunday where you don't have to breathe heavy for a little bit. So it's gonna be like that always. Just be in comfort zone forever. That can't be right. That's not human. That's not what humans are for. The body has so much potential energy. We see all these people, dude. People who blame it on genetics, bro. I've never seen someone blame it on genetics and then they've looks like someone who tried their best. Because if you've tried your best and you're not in the competing, I get it. You can blame it on genetics. Good. For me, that's how I feel about martial arts. I think long run, if I don't go professional, I want to train. I want to train people. I don't need to have good genetics, the best fucking genetics to train. I just have to have knowledge by training, right? Just improving and shit like that. With martial arts back then, and this isn't all put it on my mum either because she got me to train. She, to be honest, my knee's better than yours because I did what we now. Martial arts when I was younger. It was the warm ups that we do before training. Yeah. When I was younger, there were times where I'd want to bludge martial arts. I don't want to go today and that. And which is fine. I'm allowed to do that. I'm a kid. What I would have needed at the time was a parent who pushed me, who understands what I understand today, which my mum didn't understand at the time. But understand. Look, if I have a kid who doesn't want to go to training, I'm like, no, you're going. You are going to go because there's a window of 2 hours and you've got nothing better to do. So go train. So at the end of that 2 hours, you've got that in your body. You've absorbed it. It's good. You're ahead. You've taken steps forward as opposed to standing in one spot. Yeah. I'm not here to call out my mum or nothing. I just wished we had known that, But the thing is, she still pushed. She still made me go anyways. And so back in the seg with the students, Asian students, being the injuries that have come across. So I'm trying to work this joke about ACLs and stuff. Be like, the ACL, the BCL, the DC, all these alphabeticals. But I'm hearing so many ACL injuries, knee injuries from my peers, young Asians, from playing OzTag and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's this pattern of, okay, we finish high school, now we're in uni, we're social, there's an alleviation from how stressed we were in high school. I want to go play sports and stuff. And they want to have a place to belong and do that. And they do that. And they go into OzTag or dodgeball, sports that are easy to access, sports that are always looking for girls to join their team so they can have a nice balance. Those sports, right? But because they haven't got that good foundation from when they were younger, they're just going at it with their basic understanding. This is sports that I play, so I want to get that ball. I need to run. They don't have at least what you have. You know how your body kind of works and stuff like that to work with that. Yeah. They don't have that. Boom. You've gotten a body that's gone a few years now, not doing all this major physical stuff, and suddenly they're trying to pump this body hard. Because at the end of the day, we understand it's not all about the respiratory. The joints and all that as well. These joints and the muscles that it's just you're cashing checks I can't fucking pay for. 100%. Boom! All these injuries are happening. Because for me, dude,
that's why I'm so excited for the next generation. So our kids.
Yeah.
All the parents now. Yeah. They have an understanding of how the body works. Yeah. Of how socially how sports work. Yep. We're gonna push our kids to do sports
because this is our struggle.
And we know how to condition them.
Yep.
Condition them don't have a rest day. It's fine.
Don't do certain overwork.
Play games if you want. We're a bit more mellow than what our parents, first generation, say.
I don't know.
We're first generation.
Yeah. So they're
from our parents' understanding,
immigrant
it's just
generation.
study.
Yeah.
Right now, where we have a more like a modern way of
We've
thinking.
gone through it.
Yeah, we've gone through it.
They've sent us to school. We've gone through the school.
Yeah, we have
so
a modern
now
way
we
of
know
raising
what
our
needs
kids,
to be and then what not. So
Yeah.
we look at ourselves and what we lack as adults or
Yeah.
as our friends, and you can see how like you have certain friends because of their upbringing, they miss certain skills, you know, certain social skills, and we can kind of fill those gaps for our kids. Yeah, exactly. You know, really looking forward to this stuff
Australian
like that.
sports are gonna have a big come up like in the
Yeah.
next generation, 100%.
Hype.
Yeah. Because America kids have already done that for hundreds, like.
Oh yeah, because you've seen it.
Decades,
Yeah. Always had. It's the country that's been.
I think just Asian Australians, Asian Americans, Asian like any.
I think it's, yeah.
Immigrant Asians that have come to they goes into a different country.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a big come up in this.
Yeah, big come up because the generations of shedding all the sins of the past.
Yeah,
and like becoming more assimilated.
Yeah.
Putting down those roots and belonging. You know, now you can have time to care about sports because we belong. Like we've got generations here. So that example I had with the students who, you know, haven't done any sports all the way to the point, boom, I'm an adult, now I'm going to do sports, boom, injury left, right and center.
Yeah.
For me, I noticed this because I'm so lucky, man. I'm such a careless person. I've had done stuff where I've hurt myself, fractured a collarbone trying to show off a dive roll, you know. I smashed my head because I just decided to run. Smashed my head a couple of times too, bro. And dive at the beach and hit my head in the sand. The last one I had was the one that kind of woke me up. Fuck, I'm so lucky. Hit my head, jaw went down. I told you this one. Hit my tooth. My tongue was in between and it kind of sliced just a bit at the top, just a little bit of skin, a little bit of bleeding. That's all. Could have been way worse. I could have bit my tongue off. I could have bit just a tip off. And did I work in sales? I need to talk. I thought, because right then, you know, it hurts. I tried to speak. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to speak with the list for the rest of my life. I was like, what the fuck? All right. And then with the tooth, it went down, hit the tooth loose. I went and got the x-ray. It just moved the gum. I'm lucky. Didn't fracture. Didn't knock the tooth out. I could have been way worse, man.
Yeah.
Could have been so much. And that's what I learned. Oh, shit. Pull it back.
A rock could have been under that sand. Yeah.
Pardon?
A rock could have been under that sand.
Yeah, exactly. So much. Oh, all sorts. I'm sure the water slowed me down a bit. I was running pretty fast. Yeah. But I'm lucky, you know. Yeah. I've got high ankle sprain I told you about from, again, more careless shit. Jumping around the city and I jumped and I didn't look that there was stairs. I did look, but I thought I'd land straight and I landed on the stair and boom, high ankle sprain. That was fucked. Yeah, and that's why now I've got not that great ankle, but I'm smart enough to know to accommodate the care. So I'm like the in-between guy. Because I was training when I was young, so I'm lucky. Then we have your situation. Training when you were younger, but when you were playing basketball, you didn't know to warm up and all that before. All you know is just get into it. So you have these non-warmed up muscles doing these really intense movements. Yeah, it really is the gap that was left from our parents.
Yeah.
Who can blame them? How do they know to tell us, hey? Because they can tell you to limber up, stretch and that. But that's easy. That's easy to tell someone to do. Do you really know what you need to tell me to do, though? You know, hey, you never had a situation where your dad telling you, are you playing basketball now? Make sure really work out those knees, yeah? The knee, there's a lot of stress on your knees.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that makes me excited, bro, for the new generation of sports. Yeah. The Asian... That's interesting. We started this thing with that level of what's going on in America and the hate against Asians and stuff like that, and the level of caused by representation. And now looking at, there is a light in this tunnel, or at least for me, Australian Asians, or becoming not more assimilated, but having our own roots, our own area. Where we're coming up with representation. We're going to have more Asians in sports because we're going to know how to run this for our kids and stuff. I said it to myself, you know me, I really like martial arts, and I watched a lot of UFC, and the dream, if I could fight in the UFC, it'd be great. Sorry, we'll just run with the sound, it'll be good. Yeah. If I could fight in the UFC, it'll be great. Likely? I don't think it's likely. I think takes a lot of time and dedication. We'll see. If I can, I will. I'll give it a try just to say that I did it. You know, that's what's important, to say that you can do it and you have been there. But a step down from that is I'd really be down to train, get really good at the sport I like, which is martial arts, and then be able to train other people. You know, train with them. I want to be like, the professionals and stuff like that. I want to like spar with them.
Yeah.
Just like to help them improve, and then helps me improve. But I also get a good experience because of a sport I like.
Well. Yeah.
I get to play a sport I like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then your end with volleyball. I mean, for you, how do you feel as like an age thing, where your roof is?
My roof?
Yeah.
Because there's like a 30-year-old playing in our team right now. And like, I mean, physically, he's pretty good. Physically,
we're not at our peak yet. You know that, right?
Physically, he's in a really good spot right now. Yeah.
Because we aren't at our peak yet, and the only thing that I think we lose out on, because I'm thinking when I decide to compete in like if I do compete in like UFC or whatever the professional leagues, I'm worried about fighting the 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old who's been training now. I'm doing a podcast right now. That kid's training. And because MMA has been around for a little bit longer now, they know how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Train them. You know, when I was in high school, there was no thought of fighting in mixed martial arts or anything like that. So we couldn't give me any specific training. And specifically for the sport, like the combat sport, like, bro, how do you... Yes, there are ways to, like, get a kid to get into it. I think if it was for me, like, light martial arts stuff, BJJ, stuff that's, not all about trying to hurt your opponent. Because I think the decision to go into, like, mixed martial arts as a sport is a very adult decision. You know what I mean? How do you co-sign, like, a kid to do that? Like, it's almost like abuse, you know what I mean? Yeah. If, like, to raise a kid and go, okay, I've got a kid and I'm looking forward for you to grow up and become a cage fighter. What the fuck, And as a kid, you're definitely not going to let a kid make that decision. If you had a kid like, Dad, when I grow up, I want to fight in the UFC. Like, do you think the most socially responsible thing to do is, all right, cool, let's get him all this training. Let's get rid. Yeah, so that's why I feel like I'm not too disappointed about the gap that I've missed. And I'm lucky enough that during some of my teen years, I did do enough martial arts that I've carried something into my adulthood. And I can go off the base of that.
Yeah.